Hi everyone, Greg is back for the first episode of the new shorts, or shorts to, I have to warn you, Greg's Whiskey Guy standards. So I might probably not stick to 1 or 2 or 3, 4 minutes. I'm sorry, it's gonna be difficult. About pricing, shorts number 1. People often wonder what makes the price of their bottles so expensive or so low, etc., and why, what are the elements that comes into pricing. There are several elements. I listed 3, 4 mostly, and I will try to go as fast as possible and as concise. First one, of course, is distillery size, and it is mixed with distillery style of production. Distillery size, it means you cannot ask the same price for a whiskey from a distillery. There's generalities, of course, there are exceptions to that. A distillery like Glenlivet that produces millions of bottles per year, officially 21, I think it's a bit less, 21 millions of liters of pure alcohol per year. And also it is mixed with distillery style, so it is industrial, let's say. So that means 3 or 4 employees are enough to run the distillery, except of course the marketing department, people rolling the cask into the trucks that leads them to the bottle holes that are not in Speyside, for most of them, few exceptions. So these distilleries, they do a lot of whiskies. They provide also whiskey to blenders. They can have cheap prices for the entry level, like this. And it's only when you get to 18 years old or more, then you will see the price jump up. So this, it's gonna be not very expensive. You have to understand that if we talk about Bruichladdich, for instance, or Springbank, which is lower in capacity, less than 1 million capacity alcohol per year, liters of alcohol per year. These are craft distilleries, while the other one industrial. So what does that mean? That means 70 to 80 people to run the distillery, bottle on site, take care of the barley, etc. So the price has to take this into account. So you cannot expect 20 euros, 30, even 40 euros from this distillery for a whiskey, except if they do blends or blended malt, etc. So this is the first important factor you have to take into account. Second one is the distillery. It's the same for everyone. It's the time issues or the time questions. While you don't sell your whiskey because it's aging, you cannot sell everything, except if you do gin, for instance, for the new distilleries. It's one easy trick to make money while you wait for the cask to age. So when you come across an old cask, you're not going to have the same price for the old cask because it's rarer than for the younger whiskey. 30, 40 euros, 40 years old, you cannot ask the same price for a 12 years old. Also because it's rare, sometimes you use a better quality cask, not always. So these are some of the, the older, the most expensive in theory. Then also packaging. When you have something as easy as that, as cheap as that, the Cadenhead ones, good example. And the labels, very simple labels. You're not going to ask for the same money as something in a wooden box, very luxury, etc. Or the recent Lalique bottles for the Glenturret. By the way, another reason I did this video is the 950 pounds asked for the 25 years old, which leads us to an arbitrary question, which shortly I'll mention now, to say how much you're going to pay for something that's older than 18 years old. It's down to the distillery. Of course, it's distillery production, the craft size, etc. But there's a subjective question: is how you want to estimate this as a rare, but because of your stocks, but also because of the impression you want to do, and it's a marketing trick on people to make them think it's rare. So you're gonna up the game on the price, and it's not fair to us, because of course it's gonna reduce the capacity of the customers to afford it and to buy it, and encourage speculation. You think it's all about single malts? No, it's also about blended whiskies, because there's even cheaper and less good than that, of course, but this is an example. Ballantine's Finest, no age statement, simple one, but still a good whiskey, I recommend. This is around, let's say, 12 euros, 30, it's a 1 liter bottle, okay, so 20 euros, but otherwise it will be 14 or 12. But now what's going on? This is a good blend, good quality stuff, lots of grain, of course, same as the other example I'm going to show you. But in this one, for instance, there's more sherry cask involved, so the price will be a few euros more. So you see already there's a question of quality and choices. Is it better than the other one? Not necessarily, mind you. But this, if we go to craft indie bottler campus box, and it's still a blend, but with a higher proportion of malts. Of course, it is craft and very small production, so the price is going to be the double. It's logical, even if it's 50 cl. What else? Yeah, this will be 30 to 40 euros, but this necessarily will be much more. Why? Because this one is a distillery exclusive, okay, but also because this one is a single cask and first fill sherry casks, Oloroso. So all these are 18 years old, cask strength, Oloroso. All these as factors that can logically increase the cost, because once again, an Oloroso sherry cask will cost around thousands or even more. The empty cask that previously held Oloroso, well, it will be between half or 10 times less for the empty barrel, bourbon barrel, ex-bourbon barrel casks. So this is important. Distribution and sales issues or questions. It's the other thing I want to talk about. If you have a big, wide distribution network system and all over the world, and you can do a lot of money, and you can make prices more interesting. If you're buying in supermarket your whiskies, you will see that most of the time the prices will be less important than in a retailer. It's because it's negotiated beforehand. So between the producer and the shops and the supermarkets. So that's why, for instance, it makes no sense. It's a tip I'm giving you to buy a Diageo or Pernod Ricard whiskey, except if it's a very special version in a retailer. It makes no sense because the prices are gonna be higher. So sometimes I see things. I say, why do these people are looking for Lagavulin 16 in La Maison du Whisky, let's say, or sorry guys, or a small local shop? It makes no sense. You're gonna find it much more expensive than in your supermarket. Then the margins, another question. The local retailer, but also the online producer, everyone, they're gonna take margins to make business, but because all in all, it's still a business question. So what are gonna do? If we make it short, let's say a bottle of 70 euros. 70 euros or pounds or anything you want, but I take the euro example for me. If we say the price at the beginning is 70, including VAT, everything you want, except the margin. Most of the retailers here will apply a 1.1 margin or a 1.2. So on 70 euros, the 1.1 will give you a price for the customer of 77 euros. Okay, still reasonable. If they apply the 1.2, it will be 84. But some were a bit greedy, or that had a lot of expenses for the shops, or doesn't sell good wine or champagne, which is the best sellers way before. Here we have, you have to understand, in France we have mostly big supermarket, specialized shops on the side, and small retailers, local retailers that sell 90% of the time wine, and in minority other spirits. So the whiskey is not the thing they're making the most business with. So they have to jump up the prices so they can do, it's not often, but they can do 1.4, especially in the rare and high-end stuff. The price jumps very crazily. So on your 70 euros price, it will come up to 105 with that multiplying factor of 1.5. So compare the prices. Go on whiskybase, for instance, .com. Compare the price between the shops before jumping into it, and even online shops there's a big difference, and check out the fees for distribution, and especially now it's going to be more difficult about Scotch whiskey, for instance. So yeah, all these are the parameters you have to take into account. Of course there might be others, but it was a short one to explain, not so short, I know, the pricing issues. So I hope it was interesting, and see you soon for another short or so number.